really means just loving your people, and when you're doing that and you're focused on one another and all in teamwork, man, it's contagious, and it leads to great things. It leads to growth. And when you're with a company that's growing and around people that are supporting one another, I mean, that's somewhere you want to be, right?
Welcome to Real Leadership, the podcast that cuts through the noise to focus on leaders who make, move, and process things in the real economy. Together, we'll discover the strategies and hard-earned lessons from pragmatic, gutsy leaders who operate in a world that is more steak than it is sizzle. Right here, we dive into their stories, challenges, and triumphs to go beneath the surface to the very heart of leadership in the real economy. I'm your host, Jim Weaver, Chief Operating Officer of the Onan Group, where we believe that real leadership does indeed matter. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, today we welcome Will McCauley, the president of Creative Builders Incorporated. Creative Builders is a multi-generational, family-owned general contracting firm based in South Carolina that's been making waves in the commercial building industry since 1971, when it was founded by Will's father, William H. Billy McCauley II. Today, Creative Builders has licensed operations spanning across South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, and Tennessee, and has really built quite a reputation for excellence in the industry. Over the last 10 years, under Will's leadership, Creative Builders has continued to thrive, building on Will's dad's legacy. They've been recognized as one of South Carolina's fastest growing companies, and they've been named as a best place to work in South Carolina for 6 consecutive years. And they just found out they've been named the top place to work in the entire state of South Carolina for the second time. As a purpose-driven leader, Will prioritizes people and community, which has contributed to the company's culture and reputation for excellence. We'll dive into Will's philosophy on leadership, as well as his success in nurturing relationships with clients and employees and creating a sense of purpose beyond just profit. Please join me in welcoming my friend Will McCauley. Will, welcome.
Hey, bud. How are you, Jim?
Good. I know you're a modest guy. I hope that did embarrass you, all that hype.
Yeah, I was like, how did I get on this? This is somebody flipped a coin. Come on. I don't deserve to be on this.
All right. So the business was established in 1971, which is a good year. That was the year I was born.
Likewise.
Really?
Oh yeah. Dad started in the basement of the house with a brand new baby running around. That was me.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So how early did you get involved in the business then?
I guess I can. We've got, whether you can say things or not, but I guess it'll come back to bite me if it's. I was driving a company truck before I had a driver's license. So how about that?
I think you're beyond the statute of limitations to get in trouble on that.
Good. Yeah, wow. It was a 3 on the tree. That was I think it was the first truck that he ever bought. That was a long time ago. So never got away from it.
Were you swinging a hammer? And I mean, what were you doing early on?
No swinging a hammer first. It was I've came from all the way from the ground up, and that was in the humble roots of just. Son, I need that unit or that house cleaned out, and grab a broom and get it done. So yeah. Swinging hammer was later, and I wasn't very good at that. God's got me in places where I'm supposed to be.
So you grow up in the business, and you are in the commercial construction industry. Mm-hmm. So just to zoom out a little bit, explain the landscape of commercial construction and kind of where you guys sit in that landscape.
Okay, yeah, sure. So we started as single-family residential. In fact, our history goes back beyond just Creative Builders. It was W.H. McCauley Lumber and Sons years ago, which was a family business that was started. My great-grandfather, actually a great picture of him on the wall here in my office now, of him in a three-piece suit, listening to a radio on top of a wood barrel, a window behind him with just an entire lumber yard. And Dad left the family business 70 and started Creative Builders in 71. Again, started out as all single-family residential. I grew up in it every summer and I've just known it all my life. That's all I've ever known. And went to Clemson, majored in building science then. 30-something years ago. Now it's called CSM, Construction Science and Management. And I'll never forget the first project that my father had me go to was a residential home. We were doing a punch on it, and I literally, I can drive to the house today, so I could probably interrogate myself, and I need to be careful. But if they still live there, I was on my hands and knees in a hallway with the spouse of the homeowner, his wife, and looking down the hallway on my hands and knees, and she was telling me she was not happy with the hardwood floor, how it was laid, and could I see the waves in it? And then, well, hold on, let me adjust the lights on the blinds, and then now do you see it? I'll never forget coming back from that and telling my father, this residential is crazy. I really want to do commercial. So again, I don't want to take credit for anything because I wasn't smart enough to start this company. My father was, and I'm just a steward of it. But I learned quickly, and I give great kudos to the incredible single-family custom home builder. Those guys are rock stars, the ones that do it right and understand it. It's a hard place to work. I just enjoy the larger, more complex, complicated, more structured industry, which is really the commercial industry. And so 52 years later, we are licensed in 5 states, and we're a whole different company than where we were then.
I would imagine commercial real estate is pretty vast. So
right.
Do you have a niche in commercial real estate?
Yeah. So I'm fortunate to be sitting here in our office building we built back in 2003. That's a 5-story, 100,000 square foot office building. So that'll give maybe some of your audience a little bit of what we're capable of in terms of commercial office building, but we do also light industrial, some simple concrete tilt up, not big on heavy manufacturing. We stay more on light industrial, but specifically divisionally, we have 3 here in the company. Our largest in terms of revenue size is the multifamily division. We've been doing multifamily since before it was popular, and now, we can talk about that and what's going on in the CRE world, but multifamily is probably the large horse in relative to top line of the company. We also have a medical division and then an interior renovation division, and that switches over really with our commercial as well. We do a lot of financial facility work, a lot of restaurant, a lot of interior renovation work, ground up commercial office, and then the medical is really not office tower or patient tower stuff like the hospital. It's more of what we call MOB, the medical office building, and so we've got a vice president of each one of those divisions that are rock stars that are running those, and that's a blessing in terms of diversity, especially what's going on today with a lot of movement in the markets.
Let's talk about that. That gives us a good sense of what you guys do. So interest rates are very high. I've heard people talk about the possibility of a commercial real estate bubble. Looking through the windshield here, what are you seeing? And how are you guys positioning to navigate the current environment?
Well, we look at it a lot, and that's really looking through the windshield, not the rear view. And I think that one of the things that we're blessed with is we're not a commodity builder. I'm not looking to be the low price contractor. In fact, it's just not who we are. We are really looking for the relationships. So we're not focused on the project. We're focused on the people. And when you're aligned with that and your clients and really understand what they're doing and where their pain points are and what's going on specifically in their industries, then it gives you a lot of insight of really what's happening in our industry of, like, for instance, what's happening in the medical industry right now. What is happening in the multifamily, and we know that not just by looking at our past projects, but really knowing our clients, and also we have some opportunity that we do some development too. So again, we know how to underwrite a deal. We know what's going on with the financial factors relative to all these projects, whether they're a small renovation or a $40 or $50 million multifamily project. They don't get done just overnight. These things take a lot of time and brain trust of some really smart leaders that are either growing as a company themselves and they're looking for newer or next gen space, or they're developers that are doing that for profit. And so really staying in tune with that is something that I love. I love that side of our business and that industry, or that side of the industry that is more looking forward, not just the moment of now.
Facing sudden growth or limited by traditional financing? Momentum Capital Funding empowers businesses with real-time cash flow through AR factoring. Get the funding you need and fuel your success. Visit MomentumCapitalFunding.com to learn more.
Are you seeing what do you think the effect of the higher interest rates? I mean, we had low interest rates for 20 years or something,
Oh, yeah.
What do you think what do you think the effect of that will be on commercial real estate in the next few years?
Well, it's happening now. I mean, there's definitely a big slowdown that's going on. I mean, we do, like I said, the big, large multifamily. Some of those deals are put on the shelf or they're sidelined currently. A lot of product has come and been put on the ground recently, and it's simple math that the metrics just really are making it tough to underwrite the deals and look for the returns that a lot of investors have been used to. And so there's a new now, and that is that the old, it was easy. There was a lot of people in it. Those are the ones that we were very cautious of, and how we're going to get through it is being aligned to a lot of the clients that have been there, done that. They're financially or fiscally responsible. They've been doing it for a long time, and they know how to get a deal done. It's taken a lot more equity now to get a project across the finish line. The returns are not like they were. So it is a new day. But guess what? Our fathers were in a time, Dad started when interest rates were double digits.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, come on, right?
Yeah.
So and look, we're 52 years old. Preferably, we'll be 104. It won't be under my leadership, but that's what we're trying to do is build next generation leaders, and we're blessed to have some great people that are doing that as well.
Well, let's talk about the generational transition. You grew up in the business, but were you kind of locked into being a part of it this long, or was there a point when was that kind of carefully planned out, or how did that look?
No, one thing my father never did was push me here to Creative Builders. In fact, it was probably psychologically, and I don't know if this was planned or not. I wish he was here that I could ask the question again. Was he so smart that not to push me to anything? It actually drove me to it. But
he was playing Jedi mind games with
you. He was. I guess I could say. Have large shoes to fill, and I've still yet to fill them.
A lot of companies struggle with that generational transition. We're first generation right now, and we have some second generation in the business, and we want to do it right. I know there's a lot of our customer base. It's the same way. So, what do you feel like you guys did right, and what would you do differently? If you could go back and do it all over again in terms of handing the baton from your father, handing the baton to you as leader?
Well, my story is a little different. You have the opportunity to plan and to think through that. When I first, this was 93, when I first came to Creative. In fact, I was trying to figure out if I want to go with a large company or want to come to work in the family business. I ultimately decided to come to work in the family business. I think I would have been better if I had gone away and maybe gone out of state even and learn from another culture, another builder, and to be able to bring some of those expertise back here to CBI. That's not my story. My story is really different, and the Lord has me here, getting ready to be here in 2 months, 11 years removed from Dad's passing. So Dad, Billy, my father, was diagnosed with, first he had Parkinson's, and then unfortunately he was diagnosed with ALS, with Lou Gehrig's disease. And so Parkinson's is the inability to control your muscles. ALS is the dying of your muscles. And so we all have lungs to breathe, and our lungs are a muscle. And so that's unfortunately how ALS patients pass, is they just ultimately they suffocate. And so
he was pretty young. He was in his 60s.
69 years young. That's right. Yeah. That's right. And it was so hard for Mom and everybody really, but I still can hear her saying in her time of sorrow, and she's still working through that. They never got to enjoy each other in retirement because he never got to retire. He was 69 years young. This is something to take away for first generation is, I'm with the golden handcuffs now. I wasn't smart enough to build this company. I'm just now a steward. So even though that I own all the stock, I'm just a co-worker here, like everybody else, and I want everybody thinking of it as their company too. Those first generation folks are the ones that can't let it go, and it's their child. They birthed it, and how are they going to let it go? It was transferring the keys was tough because it happened quickly. 6 months after he was diagnosed, Dad passed. Wow! Which is actually, looking back, a great thing. It's a grace from God because ALS is tough and something that's really, really hard to live with. But probably better is to rewind back prior to that, around an 03, which is again when we moved into the building, and Dad and I couldn't really ever figure out. It actually started before then. I take that back, all the way back to a house that he had bought on Poinsett Highway here in Greenville, South Carolina. We still have that property. It's where we call it our warehouse, a yard, where our equipment and supplies are. But we would say, okay, well, let's get together on Friday, and we're going to talk about your role and my role, and really what, how we're going to do. And this is what it would look like. Is Friday would come, and I'd go in, and we would start talking. And this is, there's two sides to every story, so this is mine.
Sure.
Is well, tell me about that job, Jim, that you're working on. Obviously, Will. Tell me about so and so, Will, and what would happen is we would just find ourselves in the weeds of a project, and that's what you're doing as a small business. Is you're just all of a sudden we're talking about in the business instead of on the business, and so kind of a sad part of the story is I just finally just couldn't do it anymore, and I remember it was a Friday, and unfortunately it resulted in us butting heads, and I just said I'm out, and lived in a house that was not far from the office, and I got up and drove home, and Dad came to me, and I won't ever forget that, and we started talking, and I'll never forget that day, and I just said, we need help. We've got to have somebody to help us work through this because we can't do it ourselves. And so I researched and hired a company, put a plug in for these guys called the Family Business Institute up out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Wayne Rivers, and so this is for everybody to hear. This isn't for any business owner. This is for everybody, and I'll never forget they truly helped us transition our leadership, and instead of working in the company, how to work on the company. And coincidentally, years before Dad was diagnosed with ALS, one of the ways that you complete really the training or the consulting services that they have is Dad had called a family meeting and handed a book to all of us. We had I was the only one married at the time, had our spouses there, and it was called, actually I take that back, my younger sister was married. It's called Get Home from the Funeral Plan.
Getting Home from the Funeral Plan.
Yep, Get Home from the Funeral Plan. And Dad actually at that meeting, which he had, he had a CPA, had his stockbroker who's doing our retirement plan, our 401k, had his trust attorney there, who had helped put together his will and write what's called a statement of intention. So Jim, I'll challenge you with something that's awesome, is sit down and write your statement of intentions. And that is, if you're not here tomorrow, is your other coworkers there going to read out, or even your wife, what you're going to leave behind as your statement of intentions. It's not telling them what to do. It's just a thought or an idea of what you would love to see take place. And so I renew that every year, go back over that. But we're getting in the weeds here.
Yeah, no, that's very practical though. I mean, that's but to be that deliberate about things, I think is, because I don't think people they don't want to think about it, and it's amazing for my mom, myself included. Yeah.
It's amazing for my siblings. You hear about success stories, and we're so blessed, and with earthly things and God's grace, but of kids fighting over stuff, right? Just stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
And,
oh my goodness, yeah.
You want to squash all that? Get the patriarch of the family to hand them a Get Home from the Funeral Plan and tell them, this is where my head is right now, and this is what I'm thinking. And guess what? I'll change my mind. I can change my mind. But right now, this is where our family is. This is where the business is, and these are the things that I see taking place. And so we were prepared. Just had no idea that in 2012, I was named president in 2005. 2012, 6 months after diagnosed, Dad passed, and we had a plan, and so we dealt more with the sorrow and the execution. It came. it came from wisdom. It didn't came from a place of being scared and not knowing what to do. I was fortunate that I had been president of the company. Dad was still here, and so we were working together every day, and just small business.
Yeah. It's, to be able to have to sort through that stuff while you're mourning. I just don't know how one could even do it successful. So that's just so wise to have that easy. Thought out beforehand.
So no, it wasn't. That was just the playbook, right? That was the directions. Is all that book was. How you do it is totally different, and how we did it is only with, first, God's grace, but second, the definition of the how is all behind the people. That's how it was accomplished. We have amazing people here at Creative Builders. I know this sounds, here I am looking at this microphone going, wow, we're doing this podcast. I mean, really, what am I doing? And I'm saying that to say this sounds like a plug. So it's not. It's truly, I truly mean this. I don't think there's any contractor around that can stand toe-to-toe with Creative Builders when it comes to the quality of the people that are here in this company, period.
Wow.
I mean, I really...
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really believe that.
So you have some longevity on your team too. I mean,
33
right?
years. Oh yeah. I'm not the oldest here. I'm just one of the band members.
Somebody who's been with you for a decade or 2 decades.
3 generations. We had 3 generations working here at one time. The grandfather, the father, and the son.
Wow.
2 superintendents, and then you're right.
So what keeps them there? Why do you think, what keeps those long-term employees with you guys, do you think?
Well, I think that, we are a family business, and that sounds cliche-ish. I think where we are now is not where we were really not that long ago, 15 years ago, and even really since 2012. We're a faith-based company, and and that doesn't mean having a fish on a business card. It really means just loving your people, and when you're doing that and you're focused on one another and all-in teamwork, man, it's contagious, and it leads to great things. It leads to growth. And when you're with a company that's growing and around people that are supporting one another, I mean, that's somewhere you want to be, right? And that's the secret of the success. Is our core values. We kind of set up like building blocks, is the ABC, and our core values are this. First, A is all-in teamwork, and B is building lasting relationships. So all-in teamwork, and then building lasting relationships. C is creating extraordinary projects. I mean, it's the first time we talk about what we do is construction. That's the third in line. And then the fourth, D, is really what completes the circle. That's developing successful people, and then therefore a sustainable company. And so that's what comes back full circle. And when I mean, I hope that our clients are not hiring us because what we do. And again, I don't want to be a commodity contractor. I want them to hire us because why we do it. And do I know our clients and know their wives and know their kids' names? Do my coworkers know the clients and are they proud to be a part of a project and to make them happy? Are we proud to support our coworkers? I mean, we've got it's called CBI Cares, and that is to take care of just our family, the CBI family. And it's something that we fund every year and set aside. And so, if you need help in a car payment or whatever, you send in those requests. We need to do a better job of formalizing it, so it sounds fancy, but it's more about just
loving people,
just
right?
Real life loving people, man.
Yeah.
Understanding your local labor market is crucial for successful recruitment. Onan Staffing's Recruitment Strategy Guide provides insights specific to your geographical location and positions you're hiring for. Our Recruitment Strategy Guide delivers a clear snapshot of your labor market and actionable intel to tackle market-specific challenges. With Onan's expertise, we help you navigate and win in your competitive landscape. Empower your recruiting process and the insights you need. Learn more about Onan's Recruiting Strategy Guide at onanstaffing.com/strategy.
You started to tell me before we turned on the mic about an early tough lesson learned. And I stopped you because I want to catch that. So early on, tough lessons learned. What's a favorite tough lesson that you learned early?
It's not a favorite. It's not a favorite. What is the first tough lesson learned? So I know it, and I know it well. And it really had to do about me figuring out who I was and how I was going to conduct business on a daily basis, and Billy McCauley's shoes, still are big shoes to fill. And so when you're Billy's son, and we work. Look, Creative Builders is just a name. Without our people, it's nothing. It'll just right away. It's just a name on a sign, and it goes away. Our people are key. Also, what are key though are our trade partners. And they're a lifeline to us. They are what make our name. And so when we can transcend working together here in our all-in teamwork, and we take that to our trade partners, and we create a culture and an environment that really supports one another, that's when you've got something that's strong and powerful. But early on, I think I thought that the way to get something done was to tell you how to do it, not ask you. And I can't. A lot of my coworkers have heard me say this, and so there's a lot of guys in the military that might not like hearing this. And so another one, I've got a couple of arrows here on my back probably coming, but I can't stand the commercial from the Army of One. I don't know if you remember that. I'm an Army of One. That's kind of a joke show to me. You don't do that by yourself. Go ask a Navy SEAL. Those guys work in a team. They work in units, and those are brothers for life. And so we're not an Army of One. We're a company of a family of team members. And you don't demand respect. You earn it. And just how I conducted myself, and thought that construction can be kind of known for a tough industry and kind of the rough, fuss, cuss way of doing things. Well, now I can't stand it, and it was because I was put in my shoes, and properly so, early on, and was sat down by a trade partner. And I don't need to go into that, but that person clearly told me. Really, what I think now is part of the definition of a real man. And it's not about money and fame and earthly stuff, but you're going to be a real man. And truly, what is the definition of that? Well,
what is the definition of that?
Well, the definition is pretty easy. In fact, we've been going through it with my boys now, and a part of this is actually something real. Some fathers that we're doing with our boys, and it's more of what it's not again, and it's not about fortune and fame and magazine or front cover or how much money. It's about do you know Christ, and therefore do you know yourself? And Jim, you and I both have we have a lot of responsibility, and we're accountable for that. And you know, how are you going to walk that? And man, I mess it up every day, mess it up bad, and so the definition of a real man is really not an earthly perspective; it's a heavenly one, and that goes back to knowing your coworkers, and are they someone that you appreciate and you give gratitude. I heard it told to me even recently is, if you're going to be a leader of leaders. And to do that, that's separate, that's different. Am I a leader, good leader, great leader, or am I a leader of leaders? And that's what we're trying to build here and create great leaders. But to do that is really with gratitude. And,
good.
And to be thankful, not telling somebody what to do, and to be thankful and grateful for them. And it's just a whole different mindset now.
How do you, because Creative Builders is not a lifestyle business. Y'all are one of the, fastest growing companies in South Carolina. You operate in 5 states. You're a big company. But I know you, and I know you, you put your faith first, your family second, and you manage to have a lot of fun. Like, you are a fun guy. Like, I look up, there's a lot of people that can check those 3 boxes, with faith, family, and work,
right?
But they don't have fun. You manage to have a lot of fun, man. How do you strike that balance, Will?
Oh my gosh, I don't do it well. How do I strike the balance? I'm still learning. I wish I knew the 80-20 rule, or the 20-80, however you want to look at it. So I think you've got it wrong. I've got you fooled. I think that I have really learned in doing so much of a better job of this, and this is another caution for a lot of other people that are in a seat like mine, is when it can be lonely and you feel like there's nobody else to talk to, and you know that the ultimate decision you have to make, and so you feel that ultimate responsibility. Well, man, you can't take that stuff home and kick the dog. You've got to lay it down. I've started doing a better job at that, and laying it down and turning it over to the ones that are helping me. In fact, I just took a trip that was amazing. I've never been away in 30 years for 3 weeks in my life, and
wow.
Just came back from bow hunting in New Zealand. It was epic. It was absolutely unbelievable. And on the tail end of that was with my family for a week. So I was gone 3 weeks total, 2 in New Zealand, 1 with my family. And
did everything fall apart?
Nothing. In fact, great story. I only called the office twice.
Wow.
Only talked to 4 people. Never checked an email while I was gone. And my rock star assistant, who's my right arm, left leg, she said, the second time I talked to her, actually twice, and she told me this. She said, okay, that's enough. We've talked long enough. Now go have fun. We got you, and we got this. And that's a powerful place to be now. And it's we have a great growth story. And it's all about our people. I'm trying to do a better job. I mess it up a lot, but when we're going to continue to grow is really focusing on each other and our families, our client relationships. And that's how we'll go through this downturn. And it's here, it's coming.
Accomplishing diversity, equality, and inclusion directives can be challenging. Excelsior Staffing, a certified MBE providing staffing solutions for light industrial sectors, has been helping companies like yours find success since 2007. Strengthen your diverse team with Excelsior. ExcelsiorStaffing.com.
I just think a lot of people sort of assume you have to choose between growth and culture, like it's a either or. I look at it tied. Like you don't have one without the other.
No way, brother. No way. In fact, you asked me a minute ago. You were asking, so why aren't people there? And part of the growth story, and who wants to sit around and do the same thing all day long? That's reverse. That's rear view. Yeah. And when you are growing and you are changing and you are adapting, you're raising the bar. I never want to stop raising the bar here at Creative Builders. And it's not me. It's not Will. It's everybody else. And when you're a part of that, you breed a culture that is that's fun. And culture is everything.
Let's leave it there. That's it.
Man.
Will, thank you so much for coming on. Okay, how can people, we'll put it in the show notes, how can people find out more about your company?
So we try to build a better tomorrow today. Is you could go to our website, creativebuilders.net. That's probably the easiest way.
Creativebuilders.net.
Yeah, we probably need to update it, so don't wear us out.
No, it looks good.
Yeah,
It looks good. I went on and for prep. It's
oh, really?
It's great. Hey, congratulations on the culture and the growth. A successful second generation transition, and I know you're a heck of a guy too. So congratulations on all of it. And I hope it's nothing but blue skies for you guys. All right.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Will.
All right, man.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was powered by Onan, a family of staffing companies providing real staffing solutions to manufacturing, logistics, and food processing companies across the United States of America. To get in touch or learn more about partnering with an Onan Group company, visit us at www.onangroup.com. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.